Hey crafters, this is Paulette in Missouri, and I have a really fun AccuCut craft order to share. I contacted the company in May just to see if they would make a notation on my account to please not send me any more dies with misaligned blade issues. The customer service manager contacted me and he offered me a good faith discount to get my business going again. So I splurged and got these dies. This first die is called Elephants, and it is so precious. Look, it's baby and mama, and each has their own ear. And you can just layer them up. They're so precious. Mama will also fit inside an A2 envelope. The next die is the A7 Apron Invitation with crease blades. When you place your order at AccuCut, they go out and they build your dies based on your order. You can ask them to install or omit the crease blades. I like to get them just so things fold up properly. If you have them omitted, it decreases the price of your die by just a little bit. You can have the hole punches omitted as well. That does not change the price of your die. Here's how this folds up. Two little flaps, and it folds up like this. It is so cute. You can cut just the apron if you want. You can cut just the pocket if you want and use that on projects. Super cute. The holes on this die do go all the way through, and if you're cutting lots of layers, it will plug up a little bit, but you can take the dental tool that came with your machine and poke those through from the back forward, so you don't injure your cutting blades. The next die is the A2 envelope, also with the crease blades. Now, AccuCut's crease blades are really nice, you guys. They're a very nice, sturdy, rounded blade. Some dies will cut your cardstock or your paper when you use them. These do not. I cut 4 pieces of just colored paper with the acrylic mat. It cut and pressed the crease blades very nicely. I think it would have done several pieces more. So this just folds up like this. The really cool thing about this envelope is it has these 2 different edges, and I didn't realize that. I think that this kind of streamline in is probably the top, but when I was playing around with it, you could construct your envelope either way, and it would be perfectly wonderful, and you can have the curvy flaps on the outside. The next die is the spatula and the oven mitt. If you cut 2 pieces of cardstock, you can get lots of mileage out of this. Just score the back piece here, adhere that, and it becomes an instant card. Super fun. This is 10 inches long, so it makes a nice big card. When I did my Father's Day projects, I cut up. I mixed and matched colors. This is a throwaway piece. And mixed and matched my spatulas. So that's really fun. And don't forget to save these little pieces that come out from inside the spatula. I think you could use them for candles, fence posts, tic-tac-toe, all kinds of stuff. Here is my Father's Day card. I ordered this just specifically for Father's Day this year, 2013. And I have a video on this if you would like to see how that was constructed. The guys really enjoyed them. The next 2 dies are this camera photo die, and when I was talking to customer service manager, I asked him if I could order 2 and have them omit the blades on one of the dies, and he said no. That would be a custom shape if I wanted to do something like that. And they have that special department. You can submit a shape or an idea for a die and specifications, extra pieces, and they will draw up plans for that and give you a quote. Well, I don't know what the rate on that is, but I knew right away there's no way I could afford a specialty die. This die was already, it's a $50 die. Now I did get a discount on it. I assumed that it would be more than the normal price to have something special done to you know, a special quote die. So I chose to order 2. And when I was test cutting them, the one in brown cut really good, and this one did not. Now, maybe they sent me a second because they knew I was going to alter one. Why go ahead and produce a good quality item if it's going to be altered? So, I mean, that's It's kind of sad, but what are you going to do? It seems pretty silly for me to complain about it. But this had a blurb on it, and this is just one of the things that occurs on some of their dies, and it wasn't, I don't know, you guys look at it, I didn't feel like the circle was in there equally. It's thicker right here where that blurb is. So we chose to alter this die, and my husband helped me do this. I'm not going to recommend that people work on their dies, but here's the deal. I have been purchasing dies and die cutting for 5.5 years, and I have just reached a place where not only do I understand how complicated die design and construction must be, but I am comfortable enough to alter a die if it's not working the way I think it should be working. This is my third die to alter since September, so whatever September to June is. And so we did this. I showed my husband where the blades were, and even exposed the perforating blades here so he could see that. And he just took some very heavy-duty bullnose type pliers and just very slowly and cautiously worked on this until it came up enough that it could be pulled the rest of the way out. You can see here on this little blade we could only pry on this side, and then that got pulled out. If you do choose to work on your dies, be very careful. We got some metal splintering off of this, and I just picked all that up with some packing tape. But here are the blades, and very heavy duty, but the thing I was most interested in is they do not weld their blades. And this answers a lot of questions for me as to why there's so much trouble getting the blades to be consistent within the dies. So we altered this, and now it cuts like this. And I would really view this no differently than taking this image and tracing it on cardstock and cutting it out 5 or 10 times, however many pages of this that you need for your projects. And the only difference here is that the die is going to do it for me. My hands are too old. I have arthritis from carpal tunnel, and I had lumbar surgery, which absolutely changed the position of my spine. And so my hands do not like to grip, sew, paint, anything. You know, I do some things just because I love to do them, and you just kind of sacrifice through. But this now does this for me, and if we have time at the end of the video, I will show you a project using that. The next two dies were replacement dies, and I told the customer service manager this was absolutely not necessary because I worked on my replacement dies. They had misaligned blades that left jagged places on the die or didn't fully cut, and so I worked on them because they were sent to me to do a better job than the originals, and they didn't, so I fixed them. But he insisted on doing this from a customer service manager standpoint, and he gave me free shipping as well. So I thought that was very gracious. They made sure that these two dies cut immaculately, and they did, as you can see here. I've cut this one in the vellum just so I could lay it on this specialty cardstock and capture this design here. If you lay your whole cardstock down here and line up the vellum and then remove it and cut that, well, then you can capture specific designs on cardstock. You also get this teardrop shape. I think this would make a really fun speech bubble or even a cute bird. The next die is the Pumpkin Album Builder die set. This is the A board. I had trouble with this board, and it was just the eyes and nose area of the pumpkin. On my original die, it left a jagged place on the eyes and nose area. And on the replacement board, it didn't fully cut these. They had to be tore off of the die cut. So it was just where a space just about the thickness of your fingernail, there was no blade. So it just physically couldn't cut the cardstock all the way. This cut beautifully. Here is the layout of the die. These are the album pages. So you can hook those together. I don't remember if this one had the holes or not, and I may have just had them omitted because I have a crocodile, and then later I have acquired the Tim Holtz magnetic Sizzix hole punches, so I can do that kind of thing. Here's the jack-o'-lantern face layers there. Here is the stem. It layers right here. And then this wonderful zigzag piece fits here. On my replacement board, this had a bent blade. So I am thrilled with this board. It works beautifully. The very last board, this is my original B board, and I didn't realize it had a problem. The pumpkin cuts beautifully, but there is a burr on this little design here, if I can get it up here. And so I will just quietly fix that and go on. The layering pumpkin is so much fun. I've put a couple of pieces together here. You can layer just the 2 pieces and have a small pumpkin, or you can layer the large pumpkin. They are so cute and so much fun. You can use the jack-o'-lantern over here. You can also use the additional facial pieces from the other board and put here if you want to do that kind of thing. I like to leave these as little pockets here, and then you can tuck things inside there. I've done a couple of cards with this, and people just love it. It is a lot of fun. So just really pretty, really fun in some printed cardstocks. How are we doing on time? Oh, we are spanking on time. So here is my camera project, and this is the cover page here is the die in its original state that cuts out these openings. These 2 pages here are the altered die that cuts the solid image. These little rectangles came from the cutouts here, and the same thing with the circles, they came from the cutouts here. I took a couple of Spellbinder circle dies and just made a simple frame by taping 2 dies together and running them, and then they just cut that frame. This is also those little extra pieces from the spatulas. So don't throw those away. They make a very nice little grip place for your camera. This is just a 5/8 inch circle punch. And then this little piece here for my presser button is actually the Stampin' Up! Word window punch. And it just fit perfectly in there. So just fun. And then I used that A7 Apron Invitation pocket for a little gift card slot, or we can put some money in there. So just really fun. The most important thing you want to do is test cut your dies. When you place an order with AccuCut, they're going to go out and build your dies, so expect the 10-day shipping, because they're going to build the die, package it up, and then ship it, and then of course it has to travel to your destination. I didn't get a new catalog with this last order, and we've got a couple minutes left. The catalogs are full of information and fun things that are already created. I also just like to go through here and write down what I already have, or dies that are similar. I don't have this die, but I have a Sizzix die that is very similar, the Eileen Hull teacup, and so I go ahead and write down what I have when I get it, and that way you know not to duplicate and double up on stuff. And you can also get a lot of ideas by looking through here. I really want this ship wheel die. I'm going to do something like that for my husband for our anniversary, which is coming up here in June. So anyway, if you have any questions, be sure and let me know.